Hello there. So we are doing a deck profile. I just need to go onto my internet to quickly check the non-universe beyond names. So we are building, well, we have built Sicily Haunted Mage, or as I like to call it, 11 the Mage, and the lovely partner of, let me get the, again, universes beyond, non-beyond name, of, fucking hell, I cannot read that, of Felon's Sigarden Outcast? Ophel Sigarden Outcast. Okay, Mike Dungeon Master. Now, the reason we are using Mike as the partner is it gives us access to Wooburg. And like, I guess he comes in handy occasionally when it comes to when I attack with 11 and she dies. Otherwise, there is literally no reason for him. Well, there's like one other niche case, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, so that's the two commanders. It is a deck that is very spell slingery. So we are going to be using 11's ability. So 11 reads specifically. You have a maximum hand size of 11, and whenever 11 the mage attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Then if you have exactly, well, if you have 11 or more cards in hand, you may cast a instant or sorcery from your hand for free. And Mike has the ability of pay 2 mana and tap him to choose target creature that was put into the graveyard this turn and bring it back tapped. So specifically from my board, so what you do is you attack with 11, get her trigger, and if she dies, tap 2 and tap Mike, she comes back tapped. Thought that was fairly simple. Now, as you could hear, we care a lot about our hand size being exactly 11. So we are running draw spells. So we're running Brainstorm, we are running Fairy Mastermind, we are running Esper Sentinel, and then we're running a card that could very well be banned within 24 hours of this being uploaded, Rhystic Study. We are running a Horn of Greed. Horn of Greed being whenever a land is put onto the battlefield, that player draws a card. So every time you play a land you draw a card, which basically means you don't lose hand size by actually playing your land for turn, which is something that 11 could struggle with, in the sense of, oh, I have a bunch of cards in hand, I get her trigger, however I can no longer put mana out, because if I do, I no longer have that many cards in hand. We then have Howling Mine. We have One Ring, because it's instance of sorceries. We have Archmage Emeritus. I will say Archmage Emeritus is one of the cards that I have mixed opinions on, but in this deck he makes sense. Reoccurring Insight. We draw equal to the has like cards in hand of an opponent, and it has Rebound. And our final draw spell is Seagate Restoration, which is a land and draw a bunch of cards. Very nice. Now we're going to go into arguably the most toxic part of this deck. So we are running Temporal Manipulation, Time Warp, Walk the Eons, Capture Xing Shao. So these are all the taken extra turns, but they go to your graveyard. Specifically, Walk the Eons allows you to like sacrifice 3 islands to put it back to your hand. You never really do that, but it doesn't exile itself, which is quite nice. Next we have a Time Stretch, which is 2 extra turns, and it goes to your graveyard instead of anywhere else. We have a Temporal Mastery, which is a extra turn with Miracle. And we have Plea for Power, which is arguably the most interesting of extra turn spells in this deck, because it allows you to take an extra turn or draw 3 cards, which again with 11 either is kind of good, but the extra turn's always probably your best bet. Although I did have a game once where I had no mana open. I said, right, are you going to give me an extra turn or draw 3 cards? They made me draw 3 cards. So I'm like, okay, well that now allows me to like play the cards from 11 And that won me the game. Next, we're going to have the extra turn spells that shuffle themselves. We have Nexus of Fate and Beacon of Tomorrows to thank for that. Next, we have the extra turn spells that will exile themselves. So we have Temporal Trespass, which has Delve. We have Khan's Temporal Sundering, which bounces a permanent as well. We have Rise of the Eldrazi, which allows us to have it be uncounterable, destroy a card, and draw 4 cards. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. And then we have my favourite out of all of them, so I did have to get the fancy looking one, which is Expropriate, which allows us to take multiple extra turns or permanents. It's great. All of those will exile themselves. And that is it for the extra turns, which is arguably the most toxic part of the deck, but still, yeah. Now we have the spells that will double our instants of sorceries because we can cast them before we get 11's trigger. So we have Double Cast, we have Galvanic Iteration, which has Flashback, we have Spell Twine, which allows us to grab one from our graveyard back, so technically a copy, and then we also grab one from our opponent's graveyard. Mnemonic Deluge, that allows us to grab a card from our graveyard and cast it 3 times instead of just 1. We then have, under the creature side, Goliath Daydreamer, allows us to copy a spell because we cast it from our hands and he swings. One of my favourites, because it's a silly card, is Magar of the Magic Strings. You pay 3 mana to make a creature copy of a instant or sorcery, and then you just swing with that, and if it deals common damage, you recast a spell that's under it. So for cards like Expropriate, that could be discarded to a hand size. I could have this be put in graveyard or something. Like, there are ways of getting its instants of sorceries in graveyard. I can have Expropriate be engraved, activate its ability, have a 3/3 creature that's Expropriate and keep swinging with it, and if I hit the opponent, that's insane. Another way to copy instants and sorceries is Jingataxius, which is arguably the strongest way because it also counters our opponents. We will now go into the ways of copying 11's trigger. We have Annie Joins Up because she is obviously a legendary. We have Harmonic Prodigy because she is a wizard. And we have Quantum Misalignment because we just make another copy of her and technically that doubles the triggers, huh? Then we have the cards that allow 11 to attack unabashed. One of them we'll go over later, but the ones here are ones that we can do. So we have Reconnaissance, which will allow us to pay 0 mana to untap it. We have Dolmen Gate, which means if we attack, we no longer take damage when we attack, so block 11 if you like. Giver of Runes. I have protection from green, or your creatures are green, you can't do anything. Also, it does include colorless, so it also means you can get through Eldrazi players, which matters because I was going to put Mother of Runes in, but Mother of Runes does not give that extra layer. We then have Bastion Protector, which gives Indestructible to her, which is less about her getting through. Well, it kind of is because she now has Indestructible, but it's more just protection at that point. And for the final protection, we have Lightning Greaves. Because again, sure, you could still block her, but at that point she's like shrouded, so you can't like target her with a bolt or something. Next, we're going to go over the tutors. I'm not running Vampiric, I'm not running Demonic or anything like that, but I'm running some silly ones. So we have Personal Tutor, which searches for any sorcery, adds it to our hand. The entire point of the deck is sorcery and instants that are huge, so very good. We then have the Tutor of Mornsong Aria. The reason we're running Aria is because Aria's players can't draw cards, does not stop 11's free instant or sorcery trigger. And it also is, because I'm taking extra turns, I'm the one tutoring every time. So if I can get an extra turn out and then cast this, my opponents don't have a chance to search something to screw with this. It's very nice. Next we have a Demonic Collusion, which is a 5 mana, but buyback you can discard 2 cards that add this back to your hand. Reason it matters is because you still keep the same hand size at that point because you tutored the card and you got this one back for the price of 2. So actually no, I think you go down by 1 doing that, but it's still good because you got your free spell and you got this. Can't go wrong. Then we have a Conflux, which grabs one of each colour. Obviously you can mix and match, but you grab 1 card of each colour. And that's it for the tutors. Next we're going to go into the 2 cards that do similar to 11 but isn't what 11 does exactly. We have a Maelstrom Archangel that when it deals combat damage you can just cast anything from your hand for free. Doesn't matter if it's instant sorcery creature. And we also have Narset Enlightenment Master. That lets you cast any non-creature off the top of your deck for free. I think it's like, what, 1 of 4? Yeah, you look at the top 4, one of them gets cast without paying a mana cost. However, the rest stay exiled, so not as good, but still does some funny shenanigans. Next we're going to go into the 1 card again for now. That gives us no hand size, and that is Spellbook. 0 mana artifact, no maximum hand size, can't go wrong. I would say you could run Fort Vessel instead because it is ramp as well. However, I find with Fort Vessel, most people will see that and go, oh, that's ramp. If I'm destroying artifacts, I'll destroy that. But if they're destroying artifacts, then it's just, oh, I just have no max hand size. It's a silly thing, it has 0 mana. People tend to ignore it more often. So, it is kind of nice. Plus also it's white border to really piss off some players. We then go into some cards that I just couldn't find specific areas to put them, but they're good. So Lear, Disciple of the Drowned, we have Uncounterable and Flashback. Flashback is kind of good. Emergent Ultimatum is a win con, because it essentially allows you to start chaining extra turns and grabbing silly things. Because you grab any mono-coloured card and say, hey, choose one of these 3 to go back in the deck, the other 2 come out for free. A lot of the cards are mono-coloured, so you can just get to choose 3 cards and go, hey, pick one of these to go back. The rest is going to get cast for free. We have Psychosis Crawler. It's just a big boy and pings every time you draw cards. We then have Blatant Thievery. We're stealing our opponent's stuff. If you're playing against a good deck, now you're playing the good deck. We have Fractured Identity. Same thing, except your opponents are also playing that good deck. Or you could do something funny and just give everyone a Jinkin Taxius and see how much chaos you can cause. I am quite known to be partial to chaos. Aminatu's Augury, again, not really somewhere that I would put it, but yeah, you just look at the top 8, you grab 1 of each card type for free. Genesis Ultimatum, you look at the top 5, all permanents onto the battlefield, rest into your hand to be cast with 11. So it can ramp you, you can get more fees to cast with 11, and you could get some board state going. Dig Through Time, Delve, and you look at the top 7 and go, hey, I want to take both of these. And for the final non-ramp card, so final card that I didn't know where to put it, is actually the win con of the deck. We have Coalition Victory. Yeah, Coalition Victory being the win con is actually really funny in this, because it's like, oh, I'm taking all these extra turns. My whole plan is I want to get 11 and Mike out to have Wooburg, and then just have anything that turns all my lands into all land types, or, spoiler alert, just having all land types, and then just casting this for free off an 11 trigger. Bear in mind I have ways to copy spells and that, so I can actually have like 3 or 4 of these on the stack. So, very nice. Next we're going to go into the mana ramp. So obviously we have the rocks of Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. We're then going to go into the spell. That is a ramp, which is Farseek, and a Reshape the Earth, because Reshape the Earth is something that you can grab off 11 specifically, and it just mana ramps you like crazy. Next we have the mana ramp in the form of a land tax that allows us to just grab lands to hand. Land tax also has the secret ability of, I just fill my hand with basic lands, I'm now at 11, I can now get 11's trigger going. It does give you that extra layer of, I'm going to not just get it for the mana fixing, but I'm also going to use this to fill up my hand to get 11 triggers. Next we're going to go for mana fixing. So we have Chromatic Lantern, that does not help with the Coalition victory, but we do have Dryad of the Legion Grove, Leyline of Guild Pact, and Prismatic Omen that all do help you with that. And then that's it for the non-lands. We will now go into the lands. So we're going to go with the basic commander staples of Command Tower and Exotic Orchard. It is a Wooburg deck after all. Next we're going to go into the, I think they're unique for this deck lands, which is Mikokoro, Center of the Sea, which allows you to have every player draw a card for 3 mana essentially. Again, you're drawing the card as well, so you are getting more cards towards your hand size. We then have Maze of If, which is another reconnaissance of I swing with 11, I take 11 out of combat, I still get the attack trigger. And on top of that, because of that, I also get the ability of I can tap down my opponent's things if they're attacking me or something. That's like huge. Then we're going to go into the hand size limit fix, which is Reliquary Tower. Now we're going to go into all of the mana fixing on lands. So obviously we have the World Tree. We then have all of these triomes that aren't triomes by name, but they are triomes by colour. So we have Drungle Shrine, Sandstep Citadel, Savage Lands, Opulent Palace, Crumbling Necropolis, Mystic Monastery, Seaside Citadel, Frontier Bruvac, Arcane Sanctum, Nomad Outpost. I know they all enter tapped, and that can suck for like how quickly you play things, but I'll tell you now, this deck does not like struggle that much with getting stuff done quite quickly. I've had 11 get her like I have 11 cards in hand, and I've attacked with her trigger by like turn 3 or 4 before. It's a very, very quick deck at times. Then we have the enter tapped unless you have 2 or more basic lands, which is Smoldering Marsh, Cinderglade, Sunken Hollow. Because the main colours you want is green, you want red, black, and blue, because 11's colours, but also green for ramping. Next we're going to the last of the ramp, in the form of Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. Obviously you want to keep both of these because Brainstorm is also a card that was run at the very beginning. Next we're going to go into the basics. We are running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 islands, because I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of our mana base, like a lot of our spells are blue. We then have 1, 2, 3 forests. We then have 1, 2 mountains, 1, 2 swamps, and the final we have a singular plains. And that's it. That is the mana base, and that is the deck. It seems very clunky, but honestly I've had people tell me this deck feels like it's CEDH. Like they think I'm bringing CEDH. Like I had one person even like not full on accuse me, but practically accuse me of, hey, you're like pub stomping, you brought CEDH to casual. I'm like, no I'm not. Like I brought a deck that is clunky on paper. Turns out it's not that clunky in practice. So yeah, it's a fun deck. Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm a bit tired today. But yeah, it's a fun deck. It's very good at cheating like your instants and sorceries. You've got a lot of fun instants and sorceries to cheat out. The reason I built it isn't because, oh boy, Stranger Things Season 5, I want to build the Stranger Things thing. It's because for Christmas, my fiance decided to buy me a Stranger Things Secret Lair set. And out of all of the cards, I could find little strenuous uses for the occasional one, like Hop, I think I put in my Voltron deck. I'm pretty sure I put like Will in my Toymaker deck. Like they all have their little niche uses. Dustin's actually in my charge counter deck, and he actually does kind of fun there. But yeah, but Mike and 11 were both cards that I'm like, right, Mike, color wise, at least for the decks I already have built, doesn't fit in many, and his ability does not fit in those ones that he does fit in color pip wise. So I don't know what to do with him. I'm going to put him aside. And then I read 11. I'm like, well, this is way too niche. Like, I don't have any decks that are Grixis that are Spell Slinger. And then I realised, hang on, what if I put them both together, make Wooburg, and just turn it into major Spell Slinger? and then just have Mike sort of watch. But it turns out Mike is a little useful too, and I built this. It was a little project I had for a little while. Me and my partner both sat down. I shared my screen and we went through Moxfield and like Magic database, etc. I will say, I don't remember when the release date is. I think it's in like April, May. We're getting the Strixhaven set. Once the Strixhaven set comes out, there's already a card that's been spoiled, which is I forget the name of it, but it's like a dragon that gives all of your instants and sorceries in your hand Miracle to colorless generic. That is insane in this deck. Basically, the first card I draw, if that card is Conflux, I get to cast this for 2 colorless. I don't even need to swing with 11. Oh, my first card I drew this turn was Temporal Trespass. Sure, I get that for free, essentially. Oh, the first card I drew was this massive draw spell. Sure, I'll cast that instead. Like, it is stupid for this deck, because the amount of mana that you are cheating. And then bear in mind, he has the ability of discard a card to draw a card on your opponent's turn. So even if I don't get a free extra turn spell at all at any of these points, I can still attempt to miracle something big. It is going to be a very silly deck with that guy. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's going to be dumb. And for Pride Manda... Oh, sorry. For Pride Manda in our local store, we haven't full-on ruled it, because I don't think there is an official ruling. But at least on like the casual tables, we have ruled it that if you have partner already, you can just run a third one and make like a polycule of 3 people, which is funny because then I go, right, I'm having a polycule, well then I'm going to have these 2 and I'm going to have that dragon here, and boom, Mike 11 and a dragon are going to run your shit. But yeah, it's going to be fun. The deck is already fun. In the description you will find the deck list. The reason I do that is because A, you'll get to see where the dragon goes when it eventually comes out, but also if I do find another card that I'm like, oh actually I didn't see that in the database and I'm going to add it, you can see what I've added, when I've added it, what I've taken out. You can see the deck list that way, so that way I'm not making constant update videos on my decks. So that being said, if you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and I don't actually have any other decks in the pipeline right now, so this will be the last deck profile for a little bit, because all I've been doing is upgrading decks as I've been going along, so this will be the last one for a little while. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.